Hello, dear friends. Welcome back. My name is Lauren. If you're new to my channel, I am healing my adrenal fatigue and chronic fatigue by healing old emotional wounds. The old emotional wounds that caused all the emotional toxicity in my life from living 30 years of my life with the emotional wounds and it all being stuck in my body. And eventually I developed adrenal fatigue and chronic fatigue because of the massive amount of mitochondrial dysfunction that comes from, again, a lifetime of living with old emotional wounds. And that's where you might be. You might have adrenal fatigue and chronic fatigue, and an aspect of the cause could be emotional and energetic components. So on this channel, I'm talking about my journey because I have made so much progress and I've learned so much and I want you to learn it faster than me. So I'm sharing my progress with you and what I learned and all the tidbits because I spend so much time thinking about this. I spend so much time working through the problem, figuring out new ways to conceptualize my illness, your illness, all chronic fatigue illnesses, all fatigue illnesses, and what's happening on this planet, and being an empath, and being a highly sensitive person, and being, a spiritual being. And as I've healed this illness, the more spiritual I get. You may have heard that actually a lot of people come to spirituality through illness. And that's because when the body breaks down in some way, shape, or form, and when there aren't answers in the traditional ways that we want, that we look for, conventional medicine, if we can't find answers there, which is pervasive with chronic fatigue and adrenal fatigue, if we can't find answers there, then what are we left with? Well, then we're left in this position where we need to expand our perspective, expand the way we think. That, if you become desperate enough, it requires you. I felt it as desperation. Maybe it doesn't feel desperate to you. Maybe it just feels like, an urge, a yearning. I felt backed up against a wall, like I had no other options. And so I was willing to, and maybe you feel this too, I was willing to go in places that I had never gone before, into emotional healing, into the deep, dark recesses of my inner being that I was terrified of looking in, but I actually was so withdrawn from it that I didn't even know that I was terrified of looking at it. I only realized that when I started to dig deep into it, and I was terrified. Lots of fear came up. But of course, if you have adrenal fatigue, then fear is a really core piece of component of the illness. And it's chronic fear. And from my experience, the only kind of chronic fear that can come and cause an illness like this isn't the external fear. It's not the external stress that we're all told about. What it really is the internal stress, the beliefs that are causing the external stress to become internal stress, to become so threatening to your nervous system, to your body, mind, and spirit, that you are in a fear state all the time. So much so that your body becomes accustomed to living in that state, and so you don't even realize you're in that state. And that's exactly what happened to me, and I know that it happens to so many other people. So many other people. I see this all the time. All the time. Their nervous system is frayed, it's exhausted, but they can't feel it because they're almost numb to it because they've been in that state for so long. So today I want to share with you, I think, of the core wounds that are at the root or contributing to this illness as an onion. Because an onion has layers, and we're all familiar with the layers. You peel layers. You can peel layers. If you don't just cut into it, you've got to peel the layers to get to the core of the onion. Well, that's what emotions really are like. These core emotions, the emotions that come in our early life. When we have really big emotions, big wounds from our early life, they become a part of our core self. And they penetrate our personality, our entire sense of being, our entire sense of the world and other people, and our relationship to that. And so if you just think of the wound as this onion where you could almost imagine it's an onion that is lodged in you. And nobody wants to have something lodged in them, especially a big, pungent ball. And so we want to get rid of that, but we can't do it all at once. You can't just yank it all out once. You can't just burst it open and see it all at one time. It would be too much. It would just be too much. And you can't heal. I mean, that would be so overwhelming to your nervous system. So especially if you're healing from adrenal fatigue, you need to be relatively careful with your nervous system. So once you calm your nervous system with the techniques that I talk about in this channel and in my course, my nervous system healing course, that I'll put a link down below to in the comments if it's up by the time that this airs. So if you've healed the nervous system or calmed it so that you're defaulting in the parasympathetic state, then you start embarking on the emotional wounds. But even if you're defaulting into a parasympathetic state, the emotional wounds are fairly distressing, and that's why you've been avoiding them for so long. And a lot of changes are gonna happen in your nervous system. So it really behooves you in your healing journey to take one layer at a time. And it's not even a whole layer. I think of the layer, I've been just working on the outer layer. This first layer, because I had never looked at this stuff before, has taken me about 1.5 years just for the outer layer. But oh my gosh, the amount of healing that happens just from taking off that layer. But so in the process, you're taking off one little chunk of that layer. A tiny little chunk. You know, Kaizen. You take it one step at a time. How do you win a race? You take it's one step at a time. You have to do it this one little chunk at a time. You can't do a whole layer. So in the last 1.5 years, I've been working on this outer layer. And in a lot of ways, the outer layer is the most painful because you've never looked at it before. You're not used to it. You're not used to the sensations that come up. You're not used to the emotions bubbling up. You're not used to having to keep your nervous system in check while dealing with these emotions, and also having perspective on who you are, how you're connected to the universe is difficult. But it's beautiful, and learning this is beautiful, and it will serve you for the rest of your life. Not to mention, it will heal it. If it's your root cause, you will heal your illness by doing this. If it's a contributing cause, you will gain so much energy by doing this. Everybody, I believe everybody, by doing this work, will gain energy. Because that's how we're all energetic beings first. Before biology and before chemistry. We are all energy first. And so if you heal the energy first, you're going to find the fastest healing there. You're going to find that the energy is actually impacting your biochemical self in a profound way. More profound than trying to change your biochemistry with supplements. That's just my experience. Now, I understand there are people out there that would argue because they've had really good experiences with supplements, and that's great. And I'm not arguing. Of course you can change your biochemistry with supplements. But my argument is finding the energetic source of some ailment or illness in your body has a high likelihood of moving your healing faster. Because, again, we are energetic beings before biochemical beings and physical beings. We are spirit before body, in my view. I didn't believe any of this before I got this illness. Again, when you have an illness, a lot of times if it's not easily cured, if you are sort of stuck in it and you have to expand your perspective outward, that's when a lot of people end up coming to spirituality. And then once they get into it, they realize not only the healing that can come from it, but the beauty and the fulfillment and the purpose and all the things that you can connect to. If you start connecting to your spirituality, you connect to your spiritual self, you connect to your higher self. Once people do that, they don't go back because it feels too good. It's like, why would I go back to not believing in those things? Just because I don't have proof? Well, but what actually happens is as you live a life connected to your higher self, you get proof all over the place that it is actually true. Because once you get aligned with the universe and with your soul and with your higher self, things start happening to keep pulling you in that direction. It's just the way it works. It's the way it works for everybody I've ever heard talk about, you know, their entry into spirituality and had their experience in spirituality. So I want to encourage you, if you're just starting, if you have adrenal fatigue or chronic fatigue and you're just starting out, or you're not starting out and you've been to all the doctors, you're starting out with this, looking at this aspect of the illness. What if emotional answers are part of the bigger answer of my illness? What if my energetic body and being has a role to play in why I developed this illness? What if I have emotional wounds to heal and I have no idea? That might feel scary. It might feel hopeful. Because from my experience, when you've been to many doctors and you're not getting anywhere and you're not getting healing, you might make a little bit of progress here and there, but you're not getting true healing. You're not getting your energy back in a profound way, that core energy that comes from within you. If that's not happening, the sense of loss, being alone, being vulnerable, and being scared about your future, scared about what you're not going to be able to do in your life, then having another option, learning about something, in my experience, learning about something new that could be an answer for you is mostly hopeful. It might be scary, but what the truth is, it's probably not scarier than the prospect of never getting better and living your life in this misery. Because it's not, as we all know, it's not just fatigue. It's all the body systems are breaking down, because the fatigue is mitochondrial dysfunction. And every system in your body needs mitochondria to function. And so when you have adrenal fatigue or chronic fatigue, you are having universal across your body mitochondrial dysfunction, which means so many body systems are breaking down. And that causes so much misery. Again, it's not just the fatigue. It's the gut issues, it's the brain issues, it's the muscle issues, it's everything. Everything breaks down. And that's how it feels too. It really feels like that. It feels like your body's breaking down, like it can't function properly anymore. And it's true. But that's not a reason to be scared, because there are ways to heal. I can promise you that there's always another way to heal. There's always another answer out there, whether this works for you or something else. There's always another answer out there. I promise you that. So as a little side note of never give up. Never give up. Please never give up. Because just because the answer isn't in the place that you've usually gone for answers, I'm specifically talking about medicine, conventional medicine, and even functional medicine. And functional medicine is great, don't get me wrong, but I didn't find answers there. And maybe you didn't either. Maybe that's why you're on this channel. I found the answers here. And so again, I'm emphasizing that me saying that is probably, my guess would be, if you are like me a few years ago, it actually has more hope than fear. The idea that your illness might be caused or somewhat caused by energetic entangles, energetic misalignments, and emotional wounds is scary, because of course we all know from that means you have to go and heal them. But that's why I'm making this channel, so that it's not so scary for you. And sharing the wisdom that I've learned over the last couple of years of how to do that, and how to do that by yourself, and how to do that without losing hope. And it's especially important for you and me, people with chronic fatigue and adrenal fatigue, to heal ourselves in this way, because what I've learned is a core part of this illness, the energetic part of this illness in particular, is disempowerment. Like, profound disempowerment, deep disempowerment, unconscious disempowerment, believing that you are not powerful, believing that you are powerless. And we all have it to an extent, but it is a core part of this illness. And I think my theory is that people with chronic fatigue and adrenal fatigue have it at a very deep level, a very deep core belief that they are powerless and helpless in some way, in some area of their life. And it's contributing to their fatigue, because that is contributing to the mitochondrial dysfunction. So again, I want to reiterate that, first of all, to never give up. There are always answers somewhere. There's always something else to try. It's amazing how long you have to search to find answers like this. But I think the world is changing. The world, the universe, our planet, the energies on our planet are starting to shift. Not starting. They've been shifting for a while. They're starting to shift really quickly now. And it's speeding healing along. I mean, my hope for you and as a viewer of this channel is that you can go through this a lot faster than me. Not only because I'm sharing with you the pitfalls and the things that I've learned that would have saved me so much time if I had known at the beginning of this journey, but also because the energy of the planet is speeding up. It's almost like it's shaking our cells faster. It's like vibrating our cells faster to eject all the crap that's not working for us anymore, that's disempowering us, that's keeping us small, that's keeping us in a miserable state, you know, using addictive patterns and all the things that we do to suppress and squash the unpleasant emotions, keep it down because you don't want to feel it. All the things that we do, it's like our bodies are vibrating at a faster frequency now, and it's like it's shaking it out of our cells. It's sort of how I picture it. I mean, my understanding is that's almost literally what's happening, because the energy of our planet is shifting, and it's what's causing so much turmoil in the world, so much conflict, because, you know, whenever there's an evolution, there's also division. And whenever you're on the cusp of some giant, vast change, there's a lot of division. And it really separates people into packs, almost, into segments. And that's what's happening. Our planet's evolving. And so my hope is that that's another thing that will help you heal faster, heal these emotional things faster than I have been able to, and that my own will speed up as well. So I just want to end on this. I just want to end on an encouraging note. Like, don't give up. Never give up. There's always an answer. This might be a contributing cause, the emotional wounds that I'm talking about in this channel. The truth is, if you never give up, and you keep trying to find answers here and there, and you keep digging, and you keep looking, and you keep being willing to expand your mind and your perspective and your energy field, you will get to the place of healing that you are searching for. You will. Your body will heal. As long as you never give up, the only way that you can fail, in my opinion, and this is true of all aspects of life, but I'm talking about this illness right now, is that the only way that you fail and you don't get the thing that you're yearning for is if you give up. As long as you're trying, you're working, you're seeking, you will find it. So I love to share the beautiful parts of this illness, the gifts in this illness, because this illness sucks. It literally feels like it's sucking the life from you. But as I've healed through these emotional wound healing layers, I see more and more every single day the gift of this illness. And I now see that this illness was one of maybe the best thing that's happened in my life in terms of precipitating change. And I needed to change. I needed to change so badly. And I still need to change. I still have so much of this low vibrational frequency, these low vibrational energies that are still in my body that I'm still learning how to shift. I'm still working on the shame wound. I'm still working on issues around love and receiving. I'm still working on powerlessness and helplessness, but I've made so much progress that I'm finally at a place that I can see and I can share with you that, oh my gosh, if you just keep going, if you just keep going and you never give up, you will get there. You will get there. Stay tuned into this channel, or whoever inspires you, whoever motivates you, whoever speaks to you in the way that you need. So stay connected to other people that keep you in a positive mindset, in a motivated state, and you will get there. I know that you will. I know that you will, because the amount of change in my body, mind, and spirit, but in terms of this illness, my body, as a result of the healing that I've done and that I'm teaching you how to do, is just like, it's unbelievable. Unbelievable. And if I hadn't been through it for myself, I wouldn't believe it. But I hope you can believe it just from my word and from my excitement and enthusiasm and passion about this, because it's just true. So just take my word for it, please. And stay on this journey. Stay with me if you want. I would really love that. And if this video speaks to you, like it, share it online, subscribe to my channel if you want to hear more. I would love to see you back here. So I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day, and I will see you on the next video. Bye.